Welcome to Tarot and the Moons. Hi everyone, my name is Ingrid, and this is an offering for new moon or full moon tarot readings. Enjoy! Hello everyone. I hope that you can hear me. I'm going to just move the mic over a little bit. Maybe that's better. So welcome to the full moon in Capricorn tarot and oracle reading. I'm excited about this one. You know, in my meditation, the energies of the moon reveal themselves to me. And I think I'm going to start sharing a little bit more with you all about the messages that I get. I was a little bit hesitant about doing that only because I felt like I needed to, get grounded with this moon video offering, which I wasn't used to speaking through this lens of the moon and the moon in astrology in particular. So, but now I think I'm feeling a little bit more with it, a little bit more comfortable with what I'm sharing. And so I'm going to be very open about some of the messages that I've received in my meditations while I'm engaging in focusing either on the full moon or the new moon. The way I meditate for this particular offering is very visual, and I, give myself prompts to visualize and meditate and breathe into the particular moons. And so with this full moon in Capricorn, the message pertaining to emotions felt like happiness. I gotta say it. It felt like happiness. And I know for some of you that sounds strange. It sounded really strange for me too when I heard it and when I saw this celebration, especially given the state of the world today. But that's the emotion that I received, happiness. So tapping into this particular full moon, it felt as if we did the work, right? If we worked, we would be receiving states of happiness. So the moon is actually tempering our emotional resonance if we remain resourceful and focused minded. That's what I got, guys. Run with it, write it down, because that's what I got. And one of the ways in which a full moon in Capricorn specifically reveals itself to me, it was that one of the ways that we can regulate and balance our emotions is to really be in that space of gratitude. And not gratitude in like saying, oh, I'm so grateful I have an apartment, or I'm so grateful I have a job. Those things are important, but it was a different kind of gratitude. And demonstration of that gratitude was also very different. Gratitude was shown to me as helping another. So the message was, if we stay in the space of service to others, like genuinely from the heart center space, service to others, we will be gifted emotions of happiness. I thought that was so beautiful for this full moon in Capricorn message. So, who is Capricorn, or what is Capricorn? Well, Capricorn is an earth sign. So grounding our emotions and being very realistic is going to actually help us stay focused. So for me, when I see moon in Capricorns, these people tend to be a little bit more difficult. It's difficult for them to tap into their emotions because they lean towards emotional control. And what I mean by that is that they're the energies that usually say things like, oh, I should do this. Or they'll say something like, oh, you ought to do that. Right? So notice the doing energy that comes with this Capricorn. So for the Capricorn moon babies, when they're doing something, that's when they're most comfortable. Now, for you and me, that may have sounded like, what feelings? What are you talking about, Ingrid? Doing is not a feeling. And I would probably agree with you. But that's not the point. The point is for you to understand that with this moon in Capricorn, they tend to hide their feelings in there doing this. So you might find yourself doing a lot more things during this particular season. And during this time period, we could all fall prey to perhaps even judging others for having emotions or expressing emotions. So we do want to be careful about the judgment aspect, but understand that that may be coming from the energies of the full moon in Capricorn. So I guess the next question that we would want to ask is what's going to help us regulate our emotions during this moon in Capricorn if we're being prompted to do, right? Well, one was something that I already mentioned, which was doing something for others, right? And something else that helps regulate the emotions and help it be expressed in a more healthy way is to look at your economic structures and look at your security. Now, for most people, that means looking at your finances, looking to make sure that your home is okay, etc. But I want you to focus it on who gives you structure in your life, who helps you with your security. Like I have a really good friend of mine, May, and just being with her, coming into this moon energy, this moon in Capricorn, just being with her allowed me to really sit down and look at my finances, look at my structures, look at my security, look at how I'm going to really produce for the future. And it wasn't coming from the space of scarcity. We were both discussing it from a space of how can I be more of service to you all, right? And so that's something that, I want you to look at who gives you the structure and security in your life. And so when we're focusing on things from that perspective, you're going to feel calm. You're going to feel like everything is going to be okay, right? So do that and see how you feel, but also make sure that, again, like I said, that you are secure with all of your relationships, even the one with yourself. Okay? So one of the things that I wanted to mention also before we look at the tarot cards is that when we are talking about focus and when we're talking about structures and when we're talking about securities, we're actually talking about Saturn energies. Saturn rules Capricorn, but it also rules the archetypes of this particular full moon, which is the devil archetype and the world archetype. So whenever we're dealing with Saturn, we're also dealing with the passage of time, right? So Saturn will govern those themes. Saturn actually governs themes of responsibility and maturity. So during this full moon period, act accordingly. Be responsible, be mature. That's going to help you calm down. Okay? So now let's go take a look at the energies of the devil and the world archetypes, which also rules the zodiac sign of Capricorn. So let's just look at the next slide. So here, when we see the archetype of the devil, we tend to look at it through negative eyes, right? Generally speaking, this archetype can represent depression. It can represent mental health issues. It can represent addictions. It can represent deviant sexuality. It can represent bondage, right? On the more positive aspect, I know it's really hard to believe that the devil archetype would have a positive aspect, but it does. And that positive aspect is that when we see this card appearing in a reading, it's going to suggest the possibility and the opportunity to be released from bondage, to remove the chains that keep us stuck, right? To remove those aspects of our circumstances that are giving us the feeling that we have no way out. So actually, when this card appears, for me anyway, in a tarot reading, I know that we're going to have an exit strategy. And strategy is the key right now. I have the fan going, so I hope it's not bothering anyone, but it's super hot here in New York today. So anyway, I I want you to remember that, right? If it comes out in your reading that we're going to do in the video, I want you to focus on that you have an exit strategy. But the key word is strategy. So you have to focus, you have to plan, and you have to actually do the steps that are necessary in order for you to be released from that which keeps you stuck, right? So when we're looking at this card, A.E. Wyatt, who was one of the creators of this particular deck, that we all know and recognize, he considered the devil archetype to represent the shadow of our psyche. Now, in contrast, Pamela Coleman Smith, who actually illustrated this card, she considered the devil archetype to represent temptation, to surrendering to that which is in excess, right? So I thought it was interesting to introduce to you those two representations by the individuals who actually created and helped create this image for us to use in Oracle. For me personally, when I see the expression of our the devil archetype, I think I see it more as an expression of our negative thought patterns and how we, with our own thoughts, can be prisoners in our world. So for me, it's about releasing these negative thought patterns. Now, when we're looking at the world card, which is ruled by Saturn, right? And Saturn also rules the devil card. But when we're looking at the world card, we are in this space of success, achievement, accomplishment, completions, a sense of wholeness, a sense of belonging. And of course, the more challenging aspect of the world would be stagnation or lack of achievements or even disappointments. Now, for Wyatt, he considered the world to represent this pure feminine nature. He saw this as the temple of nature herself. And for him, he saw the world in a very mystical way, like even the wreath being sort of oval and an egg shaped, right? For Pamela, she saw it as she was pretty straightforward with how she saw the world. And she did see it as a divine feminine energy, but she also saw it as the responsibility that we have of lifting the world up. In other words, for Pamela, the world represented the hope of humanity and the lifting of the earth herself. So keep that in mind when we do our video reading. And so when we're looking at these two archetypes at play, I suspect from a collective perspective, right, that we may be seeing these themes come up, which is themes of sexuality, bondage, earth, responsibility, hope, perhaps even some disappointments, right? Because we do have to look at the more challenging aspects. And that's about it. Now, if you're journaling, you may want to take a look at how organized you are with your thoughts, respecting your home, your environment, your relationships, etc. And I want you to maybe just write about how you can create more structures in your life in order for everything and everyone around you to flourish and feel the sense of abundance. Now, remember that structure is not your enemy. Discipline and structure and focus is actually going to be our assets during this full moon in Capricorn couple of weeks until we get to that new moon. So, and again, don't forget that the Capricorn energy is an earth energy. So prosperity is going to be inevitable if we focus and we discipline ourselves during this time period. If you're into affirmations, I think a great affirmation that you could say during this time period could be something like, I am free to do what makes me happy. I am free to do what makes me happy. You could also say something like, I completed what I worked hard on, so now it's time for me to celebrate and be happy, right? So using these affirmations is linking us right back into the original theme that I had gotten from the visualization and the messaging, which was this gift of the emotion of happiness through this discipline and the structure and having really a focused energy. All right, I think we're ready for our video. Oof, this was a 15-minute audio, and yeah, let's just begin. All right, everyone, so let's begin. As usual, all of the cards have been shuffled. And I'm going to be bringing out the players. And we've got, let's see, we've got our full moon. Oh, I did want to mention, when we start getting into this, the quarter moon, right, which is leading up to that new moon, that's when you want to ramp up your meditation, you want to ramp up your prayer time, you want to ramp up your silence time, you want to just be in that spiritual zone, right? When we start getting into that quarter moon after this full moon. So I just wanted to mention that. And here is our Mercury, excuse me, not Mercury, our Saturn, who is influencing all of us during this full moon in Capricorn engagement. So I'm just going to put that there. And then I'm sorry about the video quality before, but here we have our devil archetype. So I'm going to put it here. And we've got our world. And what I meant by the video is I think the video was showing it like this before. So now you could see it a little bit better. So yeah, there's that. And let's just begin. Again, I've shuffled all the cards. And we begin, as always, with Aries. So here we go. You've got inspiring source. Oh, and the cards that I'm using is the Ciel Tarot deck, which is my deck. And I decided to use an Oracle deck. And it's this one from, it's a couple of authors actually with this one. It was, let's see, illustrated by Gina della Grottaglia, and it's by Alberto Villoldo. I cannot believe I just messed up everybody's names. Colette Baron-Reid and Marcella Lobos. So yeah, it's the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. So I thought we'd bring in some magic here for this new moon in full moon in Capricorn, because we've got like this thing over here that we've already talked about. But okay, back to Aries. So you've got this inspiring source, which is the Eight of Cups. Oops, sorry. Which is the Eight of Cups energy here. So when we're talking about the Eight of Cups, and in this particular illustration, I was thinking about gatherings with others in a more spiritual sense. So I'm gravitating towards the World card here for you. Remember what we said about Wyatt and how he saw this as a mystical card. So for me, the Eight is really speaking here for you. I feel like there's a glare here. But I'm just going to leave it. Oh, maybe I can put this, let's see, would this block too many things? Let's see if I could do that. It's going to block the other cards, but you don't need to see the other cards. You need to see your cards. And I thought I had, let's see if I could do this. Should have this set up so I could speed up the video. But anyway, so we have here the Eight of Cups with the World card. So for me, I feel that those of you with an Aries moon, you're finally going to get a respite. You're finally going to get some relaxation time. It is intertwined with either money or health stuff, but both of these things are necessary for you, for your health and for your money and prosperity, is to take a respite, to go out and relax. It may be work related, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. As long as you are contemplating that energy of relaxation while also tapping into the happiness element, right? Look over what you've accomplished. Look over what you've already completed. and take this as an opportunity to be in that celebratory mode. And so your oracle card is the giveaway. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. This card is absolutely beautiful. And I want you to take a look here. What is she giving away, right? Where's my little thing? There's a world here. So for you, this contemplation and the recognition that you've given all you've gotten, right? That you've given your best in the situation, that you've given what you've been working really hard at, right? So be in the space of receiving, of celebration. This is absolutely gorgeous. I hope that you can see this and also be ready for the unexpected, right? Be ready for the unexpected. Gorgeous reading. Love that for you. Aries, moon babies. Be in that space of inspiration too. Next, we're moving on to the Taurus babies. Oops, I didn't want to see the Oracle deck yet. So we've got justice here for you. Immediately, I am gravitating towards the devil energy, and I'll tell you why in a second. So remember what Pamela Coleman Smith, people sometimes relate this to the energy of relationships. And so for the Taurus, in your relation, and the reason why this gravitated me towards this is because I often think of Katie Holmes when she was divorcing Tom Cruise and how smart she had to be and how cunning she had to be to extricate herself from a situation that she was feeling trapped in. And she did it using legal resources, right? She did it, I think her father was an attorney. So I always associate justice with this card. So that's why I pulled it for you, Taurus babies. Now, with this, there's a sharp and determinative engagement going on here. And if you need a mediator to get you out of the situation that you yourself have put yourself in, then get that mediator. But know that because justice has come out here, that you will be successful and you will be victorious. Okay? So this is definitely about releasing. And remember how I see this really negative thought patterns is releasing your thought patterns in a very strategic, balanced, and non-judgmental way. Even though this is the judgment card in a sense, right? Because the justice has to judge, but you want to do it in a non-judgmental way because we don't want to fall back into that trap. Let's see what your oracle is. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful synergy going on here. So you see this and you see that? This is the arrow. Very straightforward, very methodical, very much to the point, right? When we see the arrow, it's shooting to a point, to a bullseye, right? So you want to be that methodical in your release. And whatever it is that you have to let go of, whatever you're releasing, whatever jam you want to get yourself out of, you have to be very methodical because it feels to me that you've only got one shot, right? It's one arrow, one shot. So let's do it right, be methodical, plan it out, and let's get it done. Beautiful. Next, we have the Geminis. We just came out of your new moon energy. I keep pulling the other card, which is not. Oh, very nice. We've got the Magician. And I'm actually being pulled over to the devil archetype for you. This is a fun way to release, right? This is a fun way to let go of something. This is a really fun way to dislodge ourselves from the negative thinking patterns, from negative situations that we've gotten ourselves into, et cetera, et cetera. How? By using magic, by using affirmations, by using like automatic writing, by using these magical instruments that we have within our disposal in order to shed off what doesn't serve us, that keeps us tied to a situation or circumstance we don't want to be in. So this is really beautiful and fun. Gemini, you get fun ways to do things. And look at that. You get the moon, right? So guys, two major arcanas here for those of you with Gemini, right? So with the Gemini and the moon, and we're doing a full moon, use moon magic. Use moon magic to release yourself from a situation that you have found yourself trapped into, whether that's mental, physical, financially, or even a creative project that you feel trapped into. Use the moon magic. Yeah, let's have fun. That's so cool. Next, we have the Cancer babies. Cancer moons. And remember, guys, what we're doing here, we are using the zodiacal moon signs for these readings. We're not using your ascendant and we're not using your sun. You can if you want, right? Because everything is mutable. This is the beauty of tarot. Everything is mutable. You can, if you want, look at those other signs that have to do with your sun and your ascendant, but then you want to start interpreting it a little bit differently, right? Focusing on the actions, focusing on the doing or the planning. You want to look at ascendant and sun. Focusing on the feelings, which is what we're doing here, and your emotions, we want to look at the moon, right? So here we got this stability card, which is the Seven of Swords card for the Cancer babies. And of course, I'm being pulled a lot of archetypes here with people needing to engage the releasing, right? So there seems to be a lot of shadow work going on in this full moon in Capricorn season. So stability, right? What allows your mind to feel calm and stable? Because that is what you're being asked to do. So notice the word doing here. You're being asked to do something that can calm the mind. Because right now it's teetering because you do feel trapped. You do feel like you're not moving forward. You do feel like you're at your wit's end here, right? So your mental state is sort of like, I see this as a mental state card. So your mental state is sort of teetering. And what that means is we don't want to deregulate the emotional sphere. We want to actually go into the space where we're regulating it. And calmness is one of the gifts that the Capricorn is giving you, right? So how do we do it for you, moon in Cancer babies? Well, one of the ways that we discussed earlier, right, was this feeling of calmness that was going to come out of strategy. So to balance that sword, there's a lot of strategy involved here. And that's going to give you your sense of stability. Okay. So let's see what other guidance you got from the Oracle. Upper world. Yep. And by the way, the other thing I wanted to mention is the seven here, right? The seven is a card of faith. It's a card of illumination. Excuse me, the number of illumination, the number of faith, the number of staying within higher frequency. And that's what you're being asked to do. And you've got this beautiful owl here. So there's a lot of wisdom that you've gained from this experience. Stay in the upper world, stay positive, be in that positive space. And that's actually one of the strategies that you can use to help balance the mental state. Go into your spiritual source, sacred source. Actually, I don't think this was an owl. I'm not really sure what it is. It's probably an eagle. I'm just gonna put that. It's like an eagle. I mean, I do see an owl here, right in the center, but there's also like eagles or wings or something going. There's a lot going on in that card. So yeah, take a picture of it, and that's where you want to focus. Nice. Stay in that upper world. Oh, I don't want to, let me organize these because I don't want to block the other meetings for everyone. Okay. Leo. Leo, you had a really tough reading for the summer solstice that I did previously, and where this card actually was a hidden card. So for those of you with a Leo, either an ascendant, your moon sign, or your sun sign, yeah, let's get this reinforcement that you're going to get from the oracle here, because you had a really tough sort of engagement with that summer solstice. So I want it to be really smooth for you going forward. And look at that, you have self-reliance, right? So we're going to put this over here and we're going to team it up with the world card. I love it already. This is new beginnings. New beginnings with your health, new beginnings with your finances, just new beginnings. And one of the things that the world card also signifies is new beginnings, because this card is the beginning and the end, right? It's a circular motion. So you're now entering this phase of new beginnings. So I would ask you, what do you want to create? How do you want to manifest money? Maybe you're even getting a new job, which is bravo, completion, achievement, goals. So be in the space of celebration. I love this reading for you, especially considering the summer solstice reading, which seems like the summer might be a little tough, but you want to just stay in this space of celebration. The more you celebrate, the more money you get, the more there is to literally claim victory, right? This is the victory read. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And yours, the Holy Mountain. The Holy Mountain. So I think I just mentioned to someone else, like how the experience was something that they had to go through. I don't remember what I say when I sort of halfway channeling these things, but when we do see the mountains, it usually intones some sort of challenge, something that we had to go through in order for us to appreciate what we have, to understand why this beginning had to occur in the way that it did. So when we're speaking of the Holy Mountain as a guidepost here, it's a remembrance of staying in the space of gratitude as we trek up. I feel like for you, it's something that's already passed because of that prior reading. So with the summer solstice. So I feel like it's something that's already passed, but you want to stay in that space where everything is considered sacred, even the difficulties. And that actually goes for everyone. So thank you for bringing that up and showing us the way. All right, so I'm gonna have to move these up a little bit and move these over a little bit because now I'm going to these cards. So let's see, we've got Virgo here. Move these aside here. And your card is generosity. Generosity. So when we're feeling, I'm feeling depleted, right? This is a card, and sometimes when we feel trapped or our energy is drained or I feel this is a depression, right? Even the water's going into the ocean or into another body of water is a depression, right? So we got to come out of this. And it feels like you've expended so much of your emotional energy towards such situations, circumstances that really didn't call for you to be so engaged in it in such an emotionally taxing way, right? So let's be a little bit more on the spirit of what gives you a sense of security within your relationships, right? Because when we speak of the cups, we are speaking about emotions. We are speaking about, and generally speaking, when we speak of emotions, we are speaking of a relationship, either with ourselves or with others, that garners up an emotional resonance within us. And remember what I said when we started this whole engagement with the moon, our emotions, our water source within us is what creates the new world, the manifestation field. So we don't want to deplete it. We want to be able to reserve some of it for ourselves. See what you've got here. The mystical shaman. Wow, 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 wow. This is your card, the mystical shaman, which is the name of this deck, right? So what that's telling me is that I've got some shadow work here to do. I've got some healing here to do. I've got some release here to do. And it's deep work. Sorry about that, that just fell. It's deep work that I need to do. right? So if you've got your moon in Virgo, we need to go in deep and we need to do some serious clearing. This is not a clearing of other things. This is a clearing of yourself, of why you felt the need to literally be vampiric with yourself. Yeah. Wow. Powerful, potent, potent, potent. Let's maybe turn it around this way so that people can see it. If you can see it, I don't know. No, you can't see it. But you could. The next card up we have is Scorpios. This one down. Scorpio, we've got the Six of, well, it does go there. You've got the Six of Cups. This is nurturing yourself. This is protecting yourself. This is being in a space within yourself that you feel safety and secure. So I feel like that's some sort of an achievement, right? Whenever we do see the six, we are talking about nurturing ourselves. And remember but I think both Wyatt and Pamela Coleman Smith engage the energy of the earth here. And the six is an earth energy force. And it's also a very nurturing energy force. So also I'm being called to this roundedness here, right? So there's some sort of sense of completion for you. So I think that you definitely deserve to pamper yourself. This is the card of pampering yourself, right? So you definitely deserve it because there's been some sort of a completion here for you. Perhaps it's that, right? That you've learned how to govern yourself, right? That you've learned how to dislodge from situations and really be in your sense of power and victory. Let's see what your card is. Look at that. I was so focused on the earth, on the earth, on the earth. And that's what you got here for your oracle card. You got the Earth Keeper. Aren't these cards amazing? They're so beautiful. Yeah, so there's that sense of responsibility, right? So we talked about the protection, the field of circular, which is a completion, but there's also here a protection, right? Because the umbrella is protecting these cups. And so as an earth keeper, there is a sense of protection, right? Protecting the earth. So you've got a bigger responsibility here than you may have thought, to be kind to the earth, to be protective of the earth, but to also be engaging in keeping perhaps even her secrets, right? This is also cloaked somehow. So yeah, connect to the earth. I think you're going to find even more things to be victorious about. You can never go wrong with the earth. Next card up, well, see that one you can see, so maybe I can flip that over. Sort of. The next card up that we have is Scorpio. I'm sorry, did I say Scorpio on this one? This was Libra. So if I said Scorpio, that's not what I meant. This was the Libra reading. The next one is Scorpio. And oops, I don't even get this out of here. Yeah, there you go. Fearlessness, Scorpios. What's going on here? I'm gonna put the Devil Tarot card here. There's a walking away here from a responsibility that you actually need to confront. So there's something here that you haven't been confronting, that you are walking away from. So this full moon in Capricorn season is really asking you to, like, don't walk away from this thing that's keeping you behind, that it's keeping you locked up, that it's keeping you bondage. And this feels like a family situation. So don't walk away from that responsibility. See it head on. Even the way that the card is, it's walking away from the responsibility of freeing not only yourself, but others. And look at how the loyalty, right? The dog is facing this. So the dog is being loyal, right? It's being loyal to the fact that we got to go save yourself, save others, dislodge people from this chain, right? But you're not wanting to, or you're walking away. So there's some strategy here that we need to work on in order to make you feel safe and secure to deal with this. Let's see what your oracle card says. The circle. So fascinating, right? I mean, look at the hands, the circle, right? Something here is coming full circle, whether you want to deal with it or not. And it's best for you to, I mean, this all feels like a very new experience for you, so I understand it. But it's also important to get your hands dirty, right? To get your hands dirty and to see what's produced, because what's produced apparently for you seems to be freedom. So remember what I said about when this card shows up. It's actually an opportunity for you to feel a sense of freedom, finally, right? Instead of walking away and thinking that that's freedom, because it's not. Nice. Couple of deep readings here, but I didn't I certainly didn't expect anything less with a full moon in Capricorn energy, because this energy, both of these energies are not light, right? They're not light. And by light, I don't mean light and shadow or dark. I mean the frequency of it does require us to do shadow work, either shadow work to dislodge, or even shadow work to be ready to do what's next, what's coming up next. Because this is a sense of completion, is also a beginning. Sagittarius moon, what do we got? What do we got? We've got the Queen of, okay, definitely this, and I'll tell you why in a second, but we've got the Queen of Swords. So you are already motivated to cut the chains. You are already motivated to seek your own freedom. You are already motivated to release, which is awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you're facing the situation head on. So that's fantastic. With the Queen energy and this archetype, sometimes there's a lot of strife, or there's a lot of arguments, or there's a lot of, but keep persevering and doing what's just, because you will find your freedom. And then we have soul retrieval. Wow. You know what's interesting is, here, I'll show you. What's interesting, as I was doing the reading, I was asking myself, what is she freeing herself from, or what are they freeing themselves from when you have this moon in Sagittarius? And to what end? And it's literally to find your soul. You know, I love Carolyn Mace, and bringing Carolyn Mace up in this discussion, usually when I bring up the tarot card, because the devil archetype, because she has these archetypes where she speaks of the prostitute archetype, right? And how easy it is that we all sell ourselves for the sense of power. So this feels something like that. You are in the space where you're regaining your power back, right? But it's because you lost it, and in the process, you lost who you were. And I'm specifically zoning in on somebody here with a moon in Sagittarius. You lost who you were, but now, because you're being forceful and protecting yourself and commanding that level of respect, you have this opportunity to literally retrieve who you were, and to possibly retrieve the next step and the next stage of your soul's engagement here on planet Earth. Yeah, beautiful. And if you know me and you know who you are, you can reach out and DM me or make a comment. But if you know me, then let me know that it's you. And by the way, I wanted to thank everyone for their DMs, for their Instagram messages, for their emails, for their text messages about how much the readings are actually assisting them. Um, sort of like maneuver these rocky emotional waters. Just, people often, let me just put this here for a second. People often, used to critique me or criticize me because of the divination aspects of things. And oh my God, it's just fortune telling and just very negative. And, I had to make a choice point. I had to make a choice between being happy or staying in a bonded situation with individuals that were not going to support what I was doing. I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I feel like somebody here has to maybe take heed that it's important for you to just follow your gut and follow your dreams. Not that this was a dream of mine, but to definitely follow your gut. And as you can see, when I'm doing these readings, it's not just about divination. If you slow down, and I've been asked to slow down a lot with these readings, but if you slow down, you're going to retrieve the nugget. You're going to retrieve the wisdom that's meant for you, for yourself to be in the state of being the gift you are to the world. You cannot do that when your emotions are rocky, when you don't even know who your emotions are in terms of the archetype and what's at play. You just can't be the person that engages life in a lovable way when you can't even see your own shadows and your own potentiality, right? So stay true to yourself all along the way. And if people make fun of you, they make fun of you. So what? At the end of the day, and we'll talk about this in another video, I'm sure, when it comes up, at the end of the day, we're all transient beings physically, not spiritually, but physically. So the only thing that matters in the afterworld for me personally is being in that state of flow, love, and respect for each other, etc. All those things that are non-tangible, which is what? Your emotions. That's what you take. All right, moving on. And I guess that was a big conversation, excuse me, because the next one is your full moon. It's the Capricorn. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. And that felt like an awakening speech. This is the nine of wands. And for me, I did label it an awakening. And I'm going to obviously put the this beautiful energy here of the world card. And one of the reasons why I called this an awakening was because the nine for me signifies the connection to the upper realms, and specifically to the spirit of the ancestors, right? The souls of the ancestors, the spirit of the ancestors. I'm saying spirit because this is a wand energy. It's a very fiery energy. So for those of you with a moon in Capricorn, don't be afraid to rely upon the sacred spiritual ancestors that are here to assist you. Again, you are very much challenged in expressing your emotions, but you're not challenged when it comes to belief and when it comes to understanding that there's a higher purpose in life. That's why you're always so much in the space of servitude, right? Which is represented by your the archetype, right? The idea of servitude. This is expressed in its more challenging state, but servitude is service to the world, right? Which is the other card that represents you. So this is really beautiful because this full moon is going to provide you with an awakening, a nugget of information that can only come from your ancestors. And that is going to tap into your fiery nature, which you have. I don't want you to have too much fire because you could burn the world down, right? But the fiery nature, that's the space of creativity that's here to literally create a new world for us through discipline, through structure, through feeling the sense of security by doing for others. Oof, beautiful. And I almost forgot your oracle. What do we got? The smoky mirror. And look at that. It's the grand Buddha. It's the Buddha in its more enlightening stage, right? So again, receiving divine blessings from above. Beautiful. Don't let the smoke and mirrors of the world distract you from receiving that awakening state. Gorgeous. Next up, we have beautiful Aquarius. What do we got here for you? Oh, beautiful. The lovers, right? I mean, we could say this, but that's not what I was going to gravitate towards. And I only say that in jest because Pamela Coleman Smith had identified that as a relationship card. Probably tells you a little bit about her relationships. But yeah, when I saw this card, I felt immediately drawn to the World card because for me, when you are of service, right, this is an indication of being of service to another, to assisting another. This is the Sun card, right? There's that circle again, the Sun card, which is a space of illumination. But it's again pulling me into this space of service, of being of service to the other for the betterment of the world. That's a nice reading. And look at this. You're already tapped in. You're already tapped in. You got the middle world. So being centered, you're here, you're doing the hard work, you're helping others, and you're realizing that it's for the betterment of the world, and you're getting assistance from the middle world. The middle world, of course, being that space and that realm of the spirit, the divine, and the earthly divine, which is why it's represented here by the tree. Beautiful. And for those of you who know, look at that. A beautiful rose. So if you're part of my rose circle with Sandy Humby, and you've got that Aquarius in you, look at that. The middle world speaking through you, to you, with the rose oracles. I never noticed that looked like a rose before until now. This is awesome. See. And last but never ever least, we've got the Pisces moon babies, stargazing, don't stop dreaming. Woof, bringing you to the world as well. Do not stop dreaming. One of the beautiful things about the world is that it's an indication of giving us a new life, a new perspective, a new way of doing things. And also, this is the Princess of Cups, right? This is a new energy moving forward, very much connected to water, very much connected to emotions. But these are emotions and feelings that you've never experienced before. And it's coming straight as a download. This is the Stargazer card. So she's looking above in order to receive the messages that she needs. Fantastic. Let's look at your oracle. Let's see what it is. The wind. I should have just said it. Sometimes I hesitate because I'm like, oh, that has nothing to do with the reading. But when I was saying looking above, I was going to say this is looking beyond the clouds. Beyond the clouds. And what I meant by that is that there was an air energy here, which is the wind, right? Energy here. But it was so beyond what we are used to. The wind speaks to us in codes, as does the water, but the water's codes are that of memory. The wind's codes are that of the future point. So that's why it's important when I do the meditations or I'm doing reading to really connect with air, wind energy, because the wind and the air, it's actually the space. I know this sounds really woo-woo right now, but it's the space where the future point is, in my opinion. Okay, that's a little too esoteric or whatever, but there's the reading. Fantastic. I love it for you, Pisces moon babies. I hope you all enjoyed the reading. I hope it wasn't too long, but you never know. I never know until I stop the recording, but I hope that you stay, in this recognition that Saturn, whenever Saturn comes along, Saturn always gives us a gift if we work. If we work. So remember, stay in this full moon frequency, be in the space of releasing what doesn't serve you, be in the space of new beginnings, right? These are the two cards in the background here. And also be in the space of being meticulous, disciplined, courageous enough to focus. And don't forget to pray. Don't forget in that quarter moon to pray, to meditate, to be in the space of breath, right? Because we want this experience to be smooth and happy. All right, guys, until next time, chat soon. Bye. If I could find my mouse, that would actually be great. There you go. And can I stop the recording?